So welcome. Start to settle in and take a deep breath. You may not have done that all day long, so take a moment to take those first few deep breaths. And as I said, settle in. So release any tension you might be holding in your shoulders and begin to root down into your mat with your sit bones. And as always, start to grow tall in the spine. A few more deep breaths, and as you're beginning to settle in, just start to set an intention for your practice this evening, and that can be whatever you want it to be. Maybe it is just a matter of being grateful that you made it here, you're getting in some practice, and I know it always seems short with only 30 or so minutes, but maybe we just find gratitude. Maybe we take some time just for ourselves and some peace on our mats. So whatever it is that you need just for tonight, go ahead and find that time, that space, whatever it is that you need. And take another full breath, and we will start to warm up. All right, as always, go ahead and just inhale the arms up nice and big, and go ahead and reach towards the ceiling. Maybe wiggle the fingers, shake it out, and go ahead and exhale. And again, wiggle those fingers all the way down as if you're raining down to the mat. Nice job. Go ahead one more time. Inhale up nice and big. Go ahead and bend the elbows, stretch through, and extend long through the arms. Great job. Take a moment to purposely kind of roll out the shoulders. Release any tension you might be holding in the head or neck. And we're going to stretch a little bit through the legs today. So we're going to kind of make those legs nice and long. So we're going to start this evening with just legs long in front of you. Taking a nice stretch here. So in this staff pose, seated pose, again, so rooting down nice and strong through the sit bones and being tall through the spine. Take a nice good inhale. Go ahead and inhale those arms up. And on the exhale, go ahead and exhale hands down to the mat. So don't start to kind of bend forward yet, but keep this nice long spine. And then just kind of tiptoe those fingers forward towards the toes. So we're not really warm yet, so we're just going to take a nice easy, kind of just a little bit of a angle towards in the torso so that we start to kind of find that stretch through the legs. Easy stretch here. And then for these last couple breaths, go ahead and allow the back to roll a little bit and find that stretch through the back body as well as through the back of the legs. Couple breaths here. So again, I know it seems tight, we're just getting warmed up, but we'll start to kind of open up those leg muscles a little bit. And then go ahead and start to come back to center. Nice job. Bring the left leg in towards the body. Nice good inhale, and this time one more time, exhale, go ahead and fold towards just the straightened right leg. So we kind of seem to get a little bit more flexibility here. We might feel like we can get a little bit further towards the toes. So again, wherever you start to come is fine. If you get to the foot, great. If not, that's fine too. And we get a little bit of a stretch through the bent left leg. Stretching here, and again, we might feel some openness through that low back. Begin to stretch the low body. One more. Go ahead and come back to center. Hold both of the legs in. Put the soles of the feet together, kind of that butterfly pose here. You can allow your feet to be a little bit further out if you like, or a little further in, whatever's starting to feel better for you. But again, just a nice good stretch here if you'd like to keep the hands on the ankles or on the feet. Just again, that gentle shift or that gentle tilt in the torso. So we begin to find that stretch in the lower body. Nice bend here. Again, allow this to be yours, whatever you would like as you begin to stretch through the legs. Another breath here. And then come back to center. And this time we'll allow the left leg to come long, keeping the right leg bent in towards the body. Always kind of grow long in that spine. Nice, good inhale and exhale. Go ahead and fold towards that straightened forward left leg. Stretch here. Again, wherever your body begins to find that stretch, be okay with that as we begin to just loosen things up and begin to stretch. Breathe here. One more. And go ahead and come back to center. Great job. All right, go ahead and shake it out, and we'll start to come over onto hands and knees, and we'll kind of keep moving through that. So, I'm sorry, yeah, hands and knees. So go ahead and come over to hands and knees. Find the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And take a moment here again to find that length in the spine. So just imagine that you're kind of creating a little bit of space between each vertebrae from the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. Find this nice long line stretching from wall to wall. And then as ready, we're going to find that exhale and go ahead and move into your cat pose. And that good stretch through each of the vertebrae, stretching through the spine. We're just going to do cat and cow just one time, and then a nice good inhale. Go ahead and drop the belly and stretch the front of the body, opening up the heart. Great job. Come back to center, neutral spine. Pull the belly button nicely in towards the spine. And go ahead and send the hips to the heels for child's pose. Stretching long through the arms. Take a breath here. Recenter. Again, refocus. Bring your mind to your mat. And go ahead and come back up to hands and knees. And we'll begin to find our first down dog. So begin to curl those toes under, peeling the knees off the mat. Begin to send the hips up to the ceiling. So we started to kind of open up the back of the legs, but if you want to pedal the feet here, you can go ahead and do that. And just check in with your down dog, keeping those fingertips spread. The head is in between the arms here. Hips are lifted. And as always, belly buttons in, cores engaged, even in this down dog. All right, let's go ahead and flow nice and easy for our first flow. So go ahead and begin to shift forward on your mat and then lower all the way down to the belly. Taking your time here all the way down to the belly on the mat. Go and allow the hands to release under the shoulders. Take a breath here. And on the inhale, go ahead and almost like as if you were drawing a line with the nose up towards the wall in front of you. Finding that openness through the front of the body. And so it's not necessarily a stretch through the neck, but really kind of finding that openness through the heart. Rooting down on the mat. And then go ahead and release. All right. And for this first one, we're going to take our time coming back up. So come back up into hands and knees, pressing up off the mat, and then all the way back up to our down dog. Curl those toes under and send the hips up. Breathe here. And then as you're ready, go ahead and walk those feet towards the hands. We'll find our first forward fold for the night. So go ahead and root down through those feet. I'm going to turn just to face you.
Take a breath. Find that first forward fold. So if you're not quite warm enough, I know we started to kind of wake up those the back of the legs. If you want to block right here, that's fine. We talked about maybe using a book instead if that works better for you. But stay here for a few breaths, rooting down through the feet and allowing the head and the neck to release. This kind of ragdoll forward fold. One more. And then take a moment to go ahead and inhale the flat back. Inhale, lifting the head. Finding that length again through the spine. Your hands can be at the top of the legs, maybe even through in towards the hips if that helps kind of find that awareness of creating that length through the spine. Or to the shins or maybe to the floor. Strong flat back. And then go ahead and release down to your forward fold again. Find that breath. And then root to rise. So root down through those feet. Go ahead and you can bend the knees. Inhale, rise nice and big. Arms all the way up to the ceiling. Fingertips touch. And then exhale. Draw the hands down to heart center. Belly buttons in. Breathe here. And then we'll go ahead and keep flowing. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, go ahead and fold. So you're going to really kind of wake up the body. All right. Go ahead and inhale to that flat back. Lengthening through the spine. And then go ahead and exhale, hands to the mat. Step all the way back to your down dog. Pause here for a breath. Reestablish your base between your hands and your feet. And then we'll go ahead and go through our vinyasa flow. Go ahead and begin to shift forward. And here's your option. You can lower all the way down to the mat as we just did, or you can lower halfway down chaturanga. And then inhale to your up dog or that cobra pose, depending on how you're feeling. And then come all the way back to our down dog. Breathe. Great job. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving. Go ahead and, if you'd like, lift the right foot up off the mat, three-legged down dog. And for now, again, keeping that hip closed. So we're keeping the big toe pointed towards the mat. And go ahead and bring that right foot in between the hands. So, finding that kind of low runner's lunge. Take a moment here. Breathe. Go ahead and drop the back left knee. And then go ahead and inhale, lift. Finding that nice stretch through the front of the left hip flexor. Belly button still in, so you don't want to kind of just sink. Again, energizing through the body. Exhale, hands to the mat. Curl the back toes under. We're going to step all the way back to our down dog. Great job. All right, you can stay in down dog or go ahead. We'll continue to flow vinyasa. Inhale, plank. And lower again, halfway or all the way. Keeping those elbows in between, those elbows close to the body. Finding your up dog. And then moving back and down dog. All right, this time with the left leg. Three-legged down dog. Go ahead and draw that left foot up. Keeping the hip closed. Toes pointed to the mat. And then as ready, left foot in between the hands. Finding that nice low lunge. Pause here. And then go ahead and drop the back right knee this time. Find your balance. Inhale, lift the arms. Belly buttons again. Again, don't think about sinking in. Keeping the energy drawing up and in. Think that midline of the body. And go ahead and exhale, hands to the mat. curl those back toes and we're going to step all the way back to our down dog again. Breathe. All right, step, walk, or hop the feet towards the hands, forward fold. All right, and right here from this forward fold, we're going to start to find our chair pose. So go ahead and allow the hips to begin to lower down. Root down through those feet. And then as ready, go ahead and inhale, lift the torso. So as with chair, as always, we have options. You can keep the arms extended. If that's not available to you tonight, you can go ahead and keep hands at heart center if that feels a little bit better for you. Because we're going to stay here in chair pose for just a few breaths. So I'm always kind of checking in. Can you still wiggle those front toes? Tailbones pointed towards the mat. Belly buttons drawn in. One more breath. All right, go ahead and exhale, fold. Nice job. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen here. Then exhale, hands to the mat. Great job. Go ahead and step the feet back to your down dog. Take a breath here. All right, so right foot again. Three-legged down dog. Go ahead and let that right foot begin to lift off the mat. All right, and this time go ahead and allow the hip to open if you'd like. So kind of beginning to turn a little bit of the hips and the belly button towards the side wall. And that's not extreme because we want to keep the shoulders as level as possible. So we don't want to sink completely into that left arm, but just kind of allowing a little bit of an openness towards this right hip. Belly buttons in. Take a breath here. All right, so we're gonna move into pigeon. So this right leg, the right knee is gonna start to come towards the hands so that the shin starts to kind of cross in front towards the front of the mat. And then we begin to settle into our pigeon pose. So the right leg, again, knee is bent. The shin is kind of pointed a little bit towards the front of the mat. If it's not parallel, that's fine. You can be bent. And always with pigeon, drawing up so that we're not sinking over onto that right side. That's not giving the stretch that we're looking for. We want to kind of keep the body nice and tall. So we take this nice good inhale, tall. And then as you exhale, if you want to go ahead and fold over on your pigeon, you can go ahead and do that. So allowing the torso to fold over across that right leg. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. So while you're in pigeon, just a couple things to think about. So if this doesn't feel comfortable, you can stick a cushion or like a block or a pillow or something under that right hip if it doesn't feel supported. You can find more bend in that front right knee as well if that kind of helps get it a little bit more comfortable. And again, kind of keeping the body upright so we get that good stretch through the right hip. Couple more breaths here as we just stretch through that outer right hip. Nice job. One more. And then go ahead and come back up to the hands if you're not already there. Back up to the hands. Okay, so we're going to come all the way back to our down dog. So curl those back left toes under. No need to rush. And start to draw the left foot or the left knee off the mat and slide that right foot back to our down dog. Great job. As always, belly buttons drawn in. Check in with the body. All right, you can stay here in down dog, or of course, you can always go ahead and flow with me with your vinyasa. Shift forward to plank. Lower down again, keeping those elbows close to the body. Inhale to your up dog. And coming all the way way back to meeting in down dog. All right, so let's switch over to the left side this time. So rooting down to the right foot, starting to allow this left foot to lift up towards the ceiling, three-legged down dog. So this time again, allowing yourself to kind of open that hip if you like. So keeping weight as even as you can between both of your hands, but just allowing a little bit of openness through that hip. This kind of feels an additional stretch through the front of the hip. One more breath. And then we're going to start to find this pigeon on the left side. So I'm going to start to find this left leg coming towards the front of the mat, allowing the shin, in a sense, to kind of start to lower down onto the mat. All right, and start to settle into this pigeon pose. Keeping a nice stretch here. So again, if you feel like this hip is starting to sink too much, if you have a block, you can sit a block underneath or a pillow or something if you'd like. Again, inhaling, lengthening through the spine. And then if you're comfortable and you need it, go ahead and exhale. And you can allow the torso to begin to lower over that bent left leg. We'll stay here for a few breaths. And again, just a couple of things to think of, keeping the hips kind of level. So again, not letting them kind of sink over to the left side, keeping them as level as possible. Belly button's always still drawn in. And then adjusting as you need. If you feel like you're not getting enough or too much, go ahead and just make this pose yours so that you get the stretch that you're looking for. We'll take one more breath here. All right, and then we'll begin to come back up to the hands wherever you are. Curl under those back right toes. And we're going to start to come back to that down dog. So go ahead and press off the mat into the hands, drawing that left foot back to meet the right. Great job. Belly button's drawn in. All right, one more vinyasa flow. Go ahead and begin to shift forward. Lowering down all the way or halfway, elbows close to the body. Up to that up dog, opening up the heart. And then coming back, meeting back together. And down dog. Breathe. All right, go ahead and walk, step, or hop those feet towards the hands. Find your forward fold. Take a breath here. And then as you're ready, we're going to move into that chair pose again. So go ahead and root down through the feet. And begin to go ahead and lower the hips right from here. And then as you're ready, go ahead and inhale and lift the torso. As always, as we said before, you can keep your hands at heart center if that feels better. Keeping that tailbone pointed towards the mat, belly buttons in. Breathe. Again, toes are light. Taking another breath. And then as we go ahead and inhale, go ahead and lift. Arms up to the ceiling, taking a little bit of a mini back bend. And then exhale. Hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Nice job. Okay, so as you stand on the mat, go ahead and heel toe the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. Your feet are about at a 45-degree angle. We're going to do a little bit of a malasana, little yogi squat. So belly buttons in, root down through those feet. And go ahead and begin to sink the hips all the way down to the mat. Okay, so this might not feel super comfortable. If it doesn't, go ahead and allow yourself to kind of just start to settle in. I know that sometimes this can feel like a really comfortable position for some, maybe for some
Not quite there. That's okay. So we'll get there. I'm going to turn just so you can see a little bit about where I'm at. So if you can keep the feet solid on the mat, that's awesome. If you're not there, we'll just work towards getting there, so that's okay. And keeping those elbows on the inside of the knees, kind of support, also helps kind of keep a stretch through the inside of the legs, and trying to keep that spine long. So if we're not quite here, maybe we just have the hands to the mat, but working our way there. One more breath wherever you are. And however you need to get there, we're going to go ahead and come to sitting on your mat. I've got the couch behind me. Support, so that was cheating a little bit. Okay. Take a moment to just come back to a seated position on your mat. Take a nice good breath. And we'll go ahead and take a nice long line through the legs, kind of finding that staff pose. Nice good stretch here. We just have a couple more minutes. We can do a little bit more stretch through those legs so they should feel a little bit warmer, a little more stretched out. Go ahead and inhale, arms up nice and long. And go ahead and exhale and fold. And maybe find those toes. And if not, that's okay too. Wherever the hands land, find this yummy forward fold. And we'll breathe here for a few moments. Nice good stretch. Kind of where we started, but we'll get kind of a little deeper into that stretch as our legs are a little warmer. One more. And go ahead and come back to center. Last stretch for the night. Go ahead and take those feet wide. Nice good stretch here. Taking a long spine. Nice good inhale and exhale. Go ahead and fold to this wide leg stretch. Getting that nice stretch through the inside of the legs. We spend so much time sitting in our chairs that we probably don't just take the time to really just allow those legs to stretch out and get a little warmer. Loosen up those muscles. And the dog is sleeping next to me very peacefully. All right, go ahead and come back to center. Go ahead and allow those legs, help those legs come back together and just come into a comfortable seated position. A nice deep breath together. And if you're comfortable, maybe you can bring hands to heart center as we begin to close out our practice. Our time together goes so quickly, goodness. So we find gratitude, as we mentioned in the beginning, maybe for the opportunity to come together, that you've given yourself these 30 minutes to spend time on your mat. Maybe feel a little better than you did when you first stepped on your mat. I hope that you found some connection and some rebalancing in your practice as we take this time to join together. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining